Good evening, everyone. I'm so glad you could be here with us this evening for a fantastic performance ahead. I'm really not assuming, I know. My name is Jojen von Winkle. I'm the chair of the art department at Carthage. I'm also the photography, film, and new media program director. Lots of hats we wear around here, just like our talented students that wear lots of hats studying all kinds of things. This evening's performance of SOCIOPATH is a part of the SURE Grant program at Carthage. And SURE Grant stands for, if you're not familiar, Summer Undergraduate Research Experience. And it has been an experience this summer, one that I will never forget, and I hope that something that you'll walk away with this evening. At Carthage, and for a lot of people, they may think that summer grant experiences for students are STEM related. Well, at Carthage, we also offer them for arts and humanities. And so how this works, they're a 10-week program where students are funded to do their research throughout the summer. And they get to be on campus, they get a stipend, and they also meals. But the other thing is they get camaraderie with the other research students too that are part of the program. And for the research with the arts and humanities, the students get to develop what that is, propose the project. And so what you're going to experience this evening is a teleplay that is created by Terrell T. Franklin. And I'm so grateful that we have him here at Carthage and his creativity. If you're not familiar with Trey, and probably most of you are here, but if you're not, Terrell is an English major with an emphasis in creative writing. He's much more than that. He's, of course, also a film and new media minor and a psychology minor. And then get this, on top of that, he's also the president of the film club, our Carthage Film Association. He's also one of the chief editors for our Centrique, and he does other things, like he's part of the sound group, Wave here, also underground poetry, and I feel like I'm missing one more thing in my mind, but he's very, very active, and what that speaks to is his creativity spews out in all different ways around campus. And so, beyond that, one other thing that or a couple other things that he does, is that he's already a novelist. He's self-published on Amazon. You can find his first book, and he's got another one, the prequel, coming out this fall. So I don't know when you sleep, but I'm grateful to have this experience to be with you, and I can't wait to hear more from all this talented group behind us. So with no further ado, I'm going to hand this over to Terrell.
Hey everyone, thank you for coming out to this. This was a really interesting process to get a whole pilot episode done in a couple of months. I did a lot of reading beforehand once I was told that the proposal went through and that that the school would allow me to do something like this. I've written for feature films, which is just kind of straight through, and obviously novels and poetry and short stories, but I saw television as something interesting that I wanted to take on, especially with something, a lot of things going on with the streaming age and post-2023 writer's strike. Did a lot of background research, or I think it's called, we called it field research. And then also the creative research part was developing this screenplay and kind of going through the entire draft process and going through pitch decks of having different character faces and their bios and everything. And a great part about this is that these readers behind me, I had the fortunate chance of just running into all of them this summer. Some of them I've known for a very long time, and some I got to meet over the summer, and all of them were enthusiastic when I asked them, hey, would you mind reading for this? They're like, oh, of course, I would love to do this. And so this project kind of coming to life is something that I didn't see happening as fast as it did. A little bit about this project. This project is, SOCIOPATH is a urban fantasy. People who have family heirlooms, and as they're passed down from generation to generation, the power from these heirlooms continue to grow. And so this pilot episode is kind of getting you into that world. We follow our main character, Cooper, who we are going to be introduced by soon. And through this, you know, it's a little quippy. I kind of like the found family aspect of most of the characters. And I think everybody here, like I have told a couple of them, like this is like my Avengers Infinity War group. So I really do like the characters that I gave them. And without further ado, we can introduce everyone and who you're reading for.
Hi, I'm John. I will be reading for Hunter and Isaac.
I'm Corey. I'll be reading for Jack.
I'm Kaya. I'll be reading for Kalisha Ali and the tour guide.
I'm Aiden, and I'll be reading for Cooper.
I'm Beth, and I'll be reading for Ishtoven and Director Perez.
I'm Grace Chapa, and I'll be reading for Dr. Marcia Spiegel, or Dr. S.
Hi, I'm Christelle, and I will be reading for Leah and Nora.
Hi, I'm Ashan, and I will be reading for Bardugo and the Runt Leader.
All right, and without wasting any more time, let's get into it. Exterior, family home, day. Pan across the backyard of a suburban family home for a baby shower. Baby blue accentuates the decorations as a large family is gathered. All seems fine until we hear yelling. We quickly focus in on a couple, a man, Hunter Spiegel, male, 20s, with a young face but a premature gray hue to his head of otherwise brown hair, and a pregnant woman, Leah Spiegel, female, 20s, yelling and fussing with an older lady, Dr. Marcia Spiegel, or Dr. S, female, early 50s.
It's because you're a sick, crazy bitch that only thinks about herself.
You aren't really part of this family anyway.
Auntie, she has our last name, so she's family whether you like it or not.
She'll still never understand why this is important to us Spiegels.
She doesn't need to. I've never joined you is the same reason my son will never be a part of this stupid tradition.
The tradition doesn't have to end with me or you. Just understand that.
Then you should have had kids of your own before your womb shriveled up.
Everyone pauses at the low blow.
Thank God you didn't reproduce.
Don't act like this isn't your 5th attempt at a child with that graveyard of a womb you have.
This sends Leah into a frenzy. The pregnant Leah charges at Dr. S, who stands still and indifferent as the majority of the family tries to hold Leah back. And through the chaos, we can only make out one intelligible line.
You will never get to see my son, ever.
Interior, Hunter and Leah's home, night. Flash forward. Cooper Spiegel, a small 6-year-old boy, is sitting in the living room playing with toys on the floor as the TV plays cartoons. In the background, Leah can be heard entering the house as a conversation begins. Move to their conversation.
Is he still awake?
Cooper was having a hard time staying down, so I put on the TV to keep him occupied while I cleaned up.
Hunter, he needs to sleep.
He'll be fine. He's a kid, and it's a weekend.
We can't get him used to this. He needs to rest. You are usually asleep by this time. What's the matter?
Aunt Marcy called.
I don't care. I'm not just going to forget what she said.
You know how many times she's apologized?
It doesn't matter how much she's apologized.
My family thinks that you...
Your family is insane if you think that we can just forgive the things that she said to me.
That was years ago. Leah, it's not like your reaction to her was any better.
Are you serious? She's always decided everything for you. I wasn't wrong to say that she should have had her own kids instead.
She didn't have much of a choice. Although she messed up, she still raised me.
I don't want my child to deal with whatever dark magic BS she's into anyway.
It's not dark magic. Leah, you know that, and Coop is our son.
Cut back to young Cooper, who, as he watches TV, sees a shadow behind the window. And then 2 more, and then another.
Mom!
The parents are still arguing back and forth.
What if we start small? A phone call? She doesn't have to see us in person just yet.
Dad!
Still not answering him.
Hunter, I don't know how else I can say I don't want anything to do with her.
What am I supposed to say to them?
Nothing.
Mom! Dad!
Coop's calling for us.
I hear him. I'm going. We aren't done with...
Windows crash, sending glass everywhere. There are pounding sounds, flashes, gunshots, and syndicates in dark gear rushing in, attacking Leah and Hunter, killing them. Cooper is stuck underneath the pile of rubble, quietly crying. One of the syndicates notices him.
What do we do with the kid?
I say leave him. I can't have a kid on my conscience. He'll just die eventually.
If we get caught, I'm not taking the fall. Bart's gonna kick your ass if this kid survives.
The syndicates soon leave. Young Cooper struggles, but he lifts the chunks of rubble off his body as sirens and lights shine on his face from a distance. Cooper, looking at his parents from a short distance away, is cold and unreactive. Emergency personnel reach Cooper and try to talk to him as they tend to his wounds, but it's all mumbled noise until the scene cuts. Interior, Dr. S's home, study, night. Later that night, Dr. S is in her home office doing late work in her study. The study is filled with old books and antique items spread across the walls and shelves. She's reading something for a few moments, only illuminated by the light of her computer screen before her phone rings as she picks it up.
Hello?
A beat. Someone on the other line.
Are you sure it's them?
Another pause.
No. They can't put him in foster care.
A beat.
I don't think they'll let me. Is there any other way?
A final beat.
Okay. Thank you for letting me know.
Dr. S hangs up the phone and looks down at her desk for a few moments before burying her face into her hands and crying. Dr. S lifts her face after a while and takes a deep breath. She logs into her computer. On the computer screen, we see an alternate browser with a background labeled with the acronym IASA, and Dr. S puts in her credentials. She scrolls for a few moments before landing on a contact, typing in a number on her phone. The phone rings for a couple of moments before someone picks up on the other line.
Hey, Director. Sorry for the late call. I have a very interesting favor to ask the agency.
The director on the other line.
How long will it take to complete this favor?
12 years, guaranteed maximum.
Montage. We hear Dr. S's voice over various images of Cooper being in the foster care system, from group homes to various unqualified foster parents over time.
The assignment is to take care of a child. This is the one and only heir to my keepsake. This mission needs to be kept in confidence unless otherwise notified.
In contrast, we see a woman entering into the system, applying, going through foster training, and finally getting a license to become the foster parent.
The assignment will take a number of years, but I need you to sacrifice that time until I am in contact with this child once he reaches adulthood. He will be difficult, hurt, and a burden, but do everything in your power to protect him and help him heal until then.
Finally, a cut back to the same woman, Nora Washington, in her early 30s, talking to the state authority as a calloused 14-year-old Cooper sits next to her. We don't hear the conversation, but we can see Cooper's hesitant and avoidant nature as he interacts with Nora before they go to Nora's car and head away. Interior, Nora's home, day. Flash forward, the interior of Nora's city loft. We see Nora, now Cooper's foster parent. She has set out a plate for breakfast and is dressed in business casual for work. She looks at her watch impatiently.
Cooper!
No reply. Cut to Cooper, laid on his back on his bed and not dressed for the school day. He throws a tennis ball into the air and catches it as loud music plays from a speaker. He can hear Nora, but isn't answering. Cut back to Nora.
Coop, food's ready. I'm about to leave soon.
Still no reply. Nora trots over to her computer and logs in. We see the same IASA browser that Dr. S used, and Nora logs into it. She begins to write a report.
Day 1045 of the final phase. Subject, as usual, is very resistant to any care and even more resistant to guidance. We'll try and coerce him to apply to Agent Spiegel's university.
Nora begins to walk up the stairs of the home and knocks on the door of Cooper's room. Cooper ignores the knock.
Cooper.
No reply.
Coop, I'm coming in.
Nora enters the room and sees that Cooper is dressed in a faded shirt, shorts, and no socks or shoes.
Seriously?
Cooper slowly looks over to Nora and sits up to reluctantly turn off the music.
What's up?
You're not even dressed, man. You're gonna miss your bus.
I'm taking the day off.
No, you're not. Come on, get some pants on. I'll take you.
No, I'm fine. You'll be late for work anyway.
Well, you should eat before school.
Previous foster parents would make me eat a fistful of belt buckles if I made them late for work. You kind of miss it when you're eating real breakfast for a little while.
Nora is not amused by his humor.
Cooper, that's not funny. That's sad.
It's a joke. Jokes are usually funny when they have a little bit of truth in them.
I don't think that's a healthy way to cope.
Lighten up, Mom.
Nora flashes a look of amusement. Cooper catches this and immediately regrets it.
What are you doing?
You've never called me that before.
Don't get used to it. I'm being sarcastic.
I'll take it as a compliment. You are sweet behind that shell, huh?
Please leave before I throw up.
Can I introduce you as my son, or is it too early for that?
Okay, you win. I'll get dressed. Just please stop.
Nora giggles as she closes Cooper's door. Interior, Nora's car, day, moving. Moments later, Nora enters the driver's seat of her car as Cooper enters into the passenger side.
Why don't you want me there for you? After you turn 18, I can still...
No, thanks. I'll figure it out on my own.
Cooper.
I'll figure it out when I am an adult. It can't be too hard.
Well, I think you should consider applying for college.
With what money?
I can...
Listen, Nora, seriously, I actually really appreciate you being one of the only good parents in this whole system, but I am not going to become a burden.
There's this one university that I think you would really like.
I actually tried applying for a school, a hard one to get into.
That's nice. How much was the application fee? I can pay you back for it. Sorry, I didn't know.
It was free. I actually think I applied for a full scholarship there. I wrote an essay in their social work program and bettered the processes, especially for an older youth in the foster system to be protected by them as a terrible foster parent.
Nora's quiet for a moment as he drives.
Something wrong?
It's just that I care about you, Coop. If you go to the other college, even if you don't want to visit, I can still be nearby. I know the staff there too. You have a high chance of having school for free.
I understand, Nora.
Please just think about it, okay?
Cooper nods his head and looks out the window. Interior, Dr. S's study, evening. Dr. S is seen in her office after hours reading through scholarship applications. Her eyes land on the last name Spiegel and she excitedly observes it. Over her shoulder, the name Cooper Spiegel is clearly seen on one of the papers. She's about to view the personal statement but is interrupted by a noise outside of her window. A figure off camera speaks to her.
They are getting braver every week.
The figure hands Dr. S an item, a compact pocket vanity. Dr. S opens it and looks into the reflection. Through the reflection, we see Dr. S dissociate before her face shifts into a completely different person. The shifted state observes their reflection before closing the vanity.
Yeah, we ready?
Shapeshifted Dr. S nods before standing up from the desk and turning around. Behind her, the study that reveals the secret area behind the bookshelf shows many antiques and items. The shapeshifted Dr. S presses a button under her desk, and the compartments close back into the bookshelf before she leaves. Interior, Dr. S's school office, day. Flash forward. Dr. S is sitting in her office reading through some paperwork. She periodically checks her watch. A moment passes, and a 20-year-old Cooper loudly enters into Dr. S's office with a friend, also a male in his 20s, laughing. She let you crack at least?
Chill with that right now.
Oh, my bad.
I don't think we've met, sir.
Nah, I don't have any classes with you. I'm so sorry for interrupting. Later, Coop.
I hope you didn't hear all of that.
I heard very little, which was still more than I needed to.
I'm really sorry. It's not like that.
I really don't want to know about any of it. The best I can say is to make sure you're not in a situation you can't get yourself out of.
No. Really, it's...
Regardless, I called you in for a reason.
Oh, yeah? Am I in trouble?
Should you be in trouble?
I don't know. Maybe.
Remember that form I gave to you back in January?
Cooper shakes his head. Of course not. Dr. S pulls out a form from her desk.
It was an application.
Doc, you can't just force me to apply for a summer job. Isn't that illegal or something?
Cooper, Why would I go with you a few months back so you could get your passport?
He shrugs.
You are too smart to be this clueless.
I'm still lost.
We're going abroad. It counts as a research opportunity.
Bro, I don't remember this.
What did I say about calling me that?
Bro, it's like an exclamative, Doc. I'm not calling you bro.
I don't care. The point is, you need to have everything you'll bring with you by the last day of finals, including your passport. Understood?
Dr. S gestures toward the paper for Cooper to fill out the form.
Fill out this form. I have everything else ready for you, and you don't have to worry about the costs.
Cooper drops his backpack next to a chair, sits down, and fills out the application sloppily, giving a thumbs up to Dr. S when finished. As Dr. S grabs the form, Cooper grabs a piece of candy from a jar on her desk.
And please, don't get into trouble between now and then, because I won't be able to bail you out if you screw it up. It's a nice trip.
Is there anything else?
You don't have any kids on the way, do you?
No, he was just talking crap. I
I'm
promise.
just saying.
I'm gonna be late for class, Doc. I'll see you later.
Cooper begins to turn around and leave.
Coop, I know your schedule. You don't have classes for the rest of the day.
Cooper waves his hand behind him and walks out the door. A couple of moments pass, and Dr. S giggles to herself, waiting precisely for Cooper to re-enter. He forgot his backpack.
Forgot this.
Cooper retrieves his bag and scurries away again.
You'll need that for class, right?
Cooper shuts the door quickly. Dr. S laughs once more and grabs a piece of candy from her jar before going back to her work. Interior, commercial airplane, moving night, weeks later. Dr. S and Cooper are sitting next to each other on the plane. We see the two looking at a touchscreen tablet of Dr. S's as she shows photos to Cooper. Dr. S scrolls to a photo, her with 3 others. 2 of them are Cooper's parents, but their faces are not 100% clear. Cooper, for some reason, can faintly recognize them.
Who are those two?
That was my nephew and his wife.
Was?
Yes, they passed away some years ago now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Nothing to be sorry about. We all lose people in our lives. What really matters is how closely we connect with them.
Cooper notices the other person in the photo.
And who's that?
That's my half-brother.
Is he alive?
Yeah, we haven't seen each other for a long time.
Oh, 'cause he lives far away?
Not exactly. We had a falling out a while ago. It was about my mother's will, and I got something he wanted.
Does any family talk to you anymore?
Not really. I just reconnected with one of them a couple of years ago, though.
Who?
A beat.
Aren't you tired? We still have a number of hours until we arrive.
I'm fine. Am I asking too many questions?
Dr. S turns off her tablet, leaning back to close her eyes.
No, you're fine. I'll tell you more if I remember. You should get some rest before we land.
Dr. S shifts and begins to doze off. Cooper sits with his eyes open, staring off. Exterior, tropical woodlands, moving day. Days later, Cooper is seen with in obvious touring clothing, hiking through woodlands with a small group of students, Dr. S, locals, and a tour guide. The tour guide is talking to the group, but Cooper is unable to pay his full attention. Cooper's head snaps to the side, his eye-catching movement in the brush. POV of Cooper, some jaguar spots in the brush.
Hey, I think there's like a big cat in the bush.
A few of the students in the group look over curiously but don't seem to see anything. One student isn't as amused. That's not funny, Cooper.
I'm serious.
Dr. S glares back at Cooper.
Knock it off!
Cooper raises his hands defensively. The group continues walking and movement catches his eyes again. POV, more brush, this time glowing eyes are peering at him.
There is something in there.
Dude, chill, it wasn't funny the first time. The locals wonder what Cooper's issue is before the tour guide walks through the group and toward Cooper, standing next to him.
Where did you see it? Can you point it out?
Cooper begins to point, and the tour guide puts a hand on Cooper's shoulder, leaning in to whisper.
I know what you're seeing is real. Don't worry, it won't attack us. The rest of the group won't be able to see it. You shouldn't. I need you to keep whatever you see under wraps until we reach our destination.
The tour tour guide leans away and smiles at Cooper, back to playing her part.
Big cats usually stay away from places where a lot of people travel. I'm sure it's just a little fatigue making you see things. We'll be able to rest soon, I promise.
The tour guide glances over to Dr. S, who gives her a nod. The group is eventually led to a more open space, and the guide stands in front to speak again.
Now, in a moment,
Everyone, get on the ground, now!
The group of students turn to see weapons pointed at them. The students begin to scream and drop to the ground. The only people to not comply with the orders are Dr. S and the tour guide.
Drop to the ground, or I'll blow your damn head off.
Dr. S and the tour guide reach into their pockets and pull out an item. Suddenly, the jaguar that Cooper saw in the brush rushes out and pounces on the tour guide.
Watch out!
Instead of being crushed underneath the weight of the jaguar, the big cat seems to fuse into the body of the tour guide and alters her physical state. Her skin glows with various spots resembling jaguar print. The tour guide leaps into the air with incredible speed and pounces on one of the syndicates, tearing them into pieces. Dr. S seems to dissociate for a moment before her body produces a glow. Dr. S makes a few movements with her body, and the earth from beneath the syndicates rumbles and then shifts, knocking them to the ground. The tour guide and Dr. S begin to take down a number of the syndicates, but some of the syndicates show that they have powers of their own. Some of the syndicates divert attention and begin firing on the students and locals. One of the syndicates points their weapon at Cooper and pulls the trigger. The tour guide tries to stop this and jumps in front of the bullet and kills the syndicate. Tour guide turns to make sure Cooper is all right, but then is incinerated by one of the other syndicate's powers. Dr. S takes down a few more syndicates before being blasted by an energy blast and flying through a number of trees. Cooper scrambles away from the action and towards where Dr. S landed from the blast.
Doc! What's happening? What is this?
This will be hard to understand.
Doc, I don't understand.
Coop, I'm your great aunt on your father's side.
What?
Those photos you saw, those people you thought looked familiar, they're your parents. We are related. My nephew was your father, and this isn't a coincidence.
What do you mean? We're related?
You need to get out of here, and you'll learn more. I won't make it. They want to kill me for my power.
Please, slow down. I think you hit your head. We need to find a way to get you out.
In my inner jacket pocket, on my right side, there's a pocket vanity. Take it, please.
What?
Hurry, Coop.
Cooper reaches into the pocket and takes the compact mirror. A small surge of power goes through Cooper, producing a glow.
What is this?
This is your conduit for your power, your inheritance. I need to pass this down to you so you can...
Before Dr. S can finish her statement, a syndicate knocks Cooper out, striking him in the back of the head with the butt of their rifle. Interior, International Archaic Sociology Agency, or IASA HQ, Day. The inside of the IASA HQ, the agency is run similarly to a government intelligence group. Behind a glass wall, we see two agents sitting in front of a higher-up's desk. One of them is Everett Jack Morgan, a male in his 40s. He's grizzled and graying. He is the quintessential action hero that has all but left his prime. Next to him is a wiry guy dressed in clothing as dark black as his curly hair. He's dressed up so much that the only exposed skin on his body is his face. This shroud of darkness is Isaac Stein, a male in his 30s. Their director, Teresa Perez, female 71, is a serious, take-no-BS personality sitting across from the men, relaying information to them.
I'm sure you're wondering why I called you two in on an off day.
Isaac nods and Jack listens, unmoving.
Agent Spiegel is out on a research trip accompanied by another agent. Counter Intel caught wind of Nightshade Syndicate activity in the area, and it seems they're searching for Spiegel. I need you two to trail and try to pick them off before they could reach her.
I don't mean to insult your intelligence, Director, but this is Dr. S we're talking about. I'm sure a few syndicates shouldn't be a problem for her to handle, let alone with assistance.
Correct, but there are non-sociopaths on this trip with Agent Spiegel, and it would be much easier to handle if she didn't have to use abilities in front of them.
Understood.
Any other questions about your current assignment?
Isaac shakes his head and glances at Jack, whose eyes trail off about something else.
Good. Limit the number of casualties if possible. We will have a few other agents traveling with you two, also. Any syndicates are killed on site.
Thank you, Director.
Jack and Isaac exit the office. Interior, ISA HQ, Jack's office, Day. Jack is sitting at his desk, facing toward a corkboard placed behind it. On the corkboard are photos of faces, maps, news clippings, blue and red X's, and symbols in search of something. None of these notes make sense to anyone but Jack. Jack's focus is broken when he hears a knock on his office door. Isaac walks in with a short stack of papers clutched to himself.
Can I come in?
A pause. Jack glances back at his corkboard and hesitates for a moment, but Isaac is familiar at this point.
Yep.
Isaac walks up to the desk, and Jack reaches for the papers. Isaac pulls away for a second.
Forgot. Go ahead.
Isaac places the files on Jack's desk and spreads them out.
Counter intel pinpointed the leader of this rogue group. Right now, he's been masked up to this point. He's been following Dr. S for a few years, and it seems like, but has retracted when he didn't have the perfect ambush.
Is he any threat to her?
Not at all. Seems like he's low within Nightshade's cast. He's trying to gain some sort of name if he takes down Dr. S with his faction.
Should be a cakewalk then.
Yeah, he must not be very sharp. Everybody in the archaic sociology world knows she can't be beat.
We'll fly out anyway and take this paycheck.
Cool. I'll see you tomorrow morning then.
Exterior, tropical woodlands, moving, day. Jack and Isaac land from a transport helicopter and exit with 4 others. One of these agents wears a hood, but we can't see their face. The hooded figure walks to the front and tilts their head to the sky.
What is it, Nishima?
Nishima, the Grim Reaper. He walks slowly, not necessarily calculated, but with a stalking presence. There are a number of dead human bodies nearby. Young people, early 20s, many locals, a number of nightshades gone, and Agent Santiago is no longer with us.
God.
Lead us to them.
Nishima nods and begins following a trail. The group end up in the open field where the previous skirmish took place. Bodies everywhere. Isaac drops to his knees and sighs.
They're so young.
Jack scans the area while the other agents check on the tour guide. Jack pulls out a pocket watch from his back pocket and clicks it. After a moment, a gust of wind comes over the group and a hazy creature mystifies next to Jack. This is Betsy, the supersonic wolf.
Hey, Betsy.
Betsy scans the area, sees the massacre before her, and lets out a soft whine.
Yeah, I know. I need you to find out where Dr. S is. She's missing, and if she's alive, we need to bring her back.
Betsy sniffs the air and then dashes, leaving a blue mist trail behind her for the group to follow. Jack motions for the agents to follow the trail with him. Interior, Nightshade Runt Cave, day. POV of Cooper. Something is over his eyes, and he can barely make out the figure in front of him. Someone in a black suit with a red tie stooped over to look at him through a hole in the bag covering Cooper's head. This is Ishtoven, the shapeshifter, and we can see by his temperament he thinks he runs the place.
Hey!
Yeah?
Cooper speaking catches the attention of a Nightshade Runt. Boss, I think he's awake.
Why would you respond out loud?
What do you mean? Why wouldn't I respond out loud?
Who are you talking to?
Can he not hear or see you? Who are you?
The Runt gets annoyed and throws a sack off of Cooper's head. Cooper scans around and gets a clear view of Ishtoven. A few other Nightshaders, including their leader and an injured Dr. S, is across from him. Are you deaf? Who are you talking to? Cooper peeks over at Ishtoven again, and the Runt follows his eyes and sees absolutely nothing. You think playing crazy is going to let you free? It's not. Cooper looks back to Dr. S, who is trying to keep consciousness.
Are you gonna answer him?
Are you not part of them?
Why do you keep answering out loud?
So you see him too.
Who said you could talk to each other?
The leader steps forward and punches Dr. S in the face before coming over to Cooper and kneeling to eye level. Cooper tries to peer into the Runt leader's mask but can't make out a face.
I know who you're talking to, and I can make him go away if you want. You are her inheritor, correct?
Cooper looks around, panicked and confused.
Does he have any clue what's going on?
No.
He has the vanity and has no idea how to use the powers.
No. So where's the vanity?
I don't think she's talking to you.
I don't know why she doesn't know better than to speak out loud.
The leader focuses attention back to Cooper.
The kid is talking to most powerful Socius ever documented. That damn thing just doesn't want to show his face today.
It's not like he could do anything if he could see me.
Ishtoven, please.
He can't help you now. And you know that. Once the vanity changes hands, you only have as much power as the other holder grants you. I just wonder how long he's had it.
You can't do anything with it anyway.
Hand over the vanity so I can prove this woman wrong. She brought you into this situation without giving you any background into this lifestyle, and now look at you. This can all be settled if you surrender and everybody can go home safe.
Cooper, you don't have to listen to him. You can get out of this.
Let the kid decide what he want to do.
Screaming? Necessary?
Doc, we get back home safe. We've already lost our whole group.
He's lying to you, Coop.
He's already made up his mind. Besides, your Socius can't do anything if that kid doesn't use him.
A slow beat of anticipation.
It's in the lower left pocket of my cargo shorts.
The leader looks back to his runts.
You didn't check his pockets?
The other runts shrug and mumble, pointing at each other to blame. The leader shakes his head in disapproval before approaching Cooper.
You guys will be nothing without me holding your hands all the way through this.
The leader takes the vanity out of Cooper's pocket and observes it in the dim light of the hideout.
I went through a whole lot of shit to get this old thing. Ain't that right, Marcia?
Dr. Eyes flash with a moment of recognition.
Elijah?
Suddenly, the runt leader pulls a gun out of his waistband, shooting Dr. S., killing her. Cooper wails and struggles against his bindings.
Maybe I should have been more specific by saying that I let you off the hook.
Cooper begins to glow with the heat of energy as he screams in anger and grief over Dr. S. Cooper's bindings melt off and he breaks free, eyes glowing bright white as he charges the closest syndicate, disintegrating him with the power of his presence. The vanity in the runt leader's hand sparks, causing him to drop it and check his hand for any damage. A few more runts try to apprehend Cooper, but they too suffer the same fate as the first. One of them takes their rifle and fires an entire magazine at Cooper, but the bullets don't even make it past the light emitting from his body. The runt leader takes out a small device from a vest pocket and clicks a button on it, firing a blast from it in Cooper's direction, knocking Cooper over and halting his frenzy before walking towards him.
You see this thing?
The leader picks back up and brandishes the vanity in front of Cooper's face.
You don't even understand the sheer power you could have possessed if you just...
The sounds of bullets whipping past and the gust of wind interrupt the leader's monologue. A blue flash flies by and knocks over the runt leader, forcing him to drop the vanity with it landing on Cooper's lap. Cooper looks around and sees a different group, less armored and focusing their weapons and magical attacks onto the syndicate runts. Another blue flash whizzes by and stops in front of Cooper. It's Jack Morgan.
You all right?
The chaos continues around the two, but it begins to die down.
What's going on? Is Doc okay?
I understand a lot is happening right now, and it'll take a lot more to explain, but I need to get you to safety.
The runts flee the cave, and Neshima walks over to Dr. S., Isaac trailing him. Agent Spiegel has moved on to the afterlife.
No!
He stands up and stumbles toward Dr. S.'s body, holding her and beginning to sob.
We can bring her with. We might have time.
Isaac and Jack give each other a look before Jack stands and walks over to Cooper, gently placing Dr. S. down.
I'm sorry, kid.
Cooper cries. A few somber moments pass before Jack speaks again.
Let's get you back, and then we can...
No witnesses! The nightshade runt that was hiding announces himself, and an elevated platform pulls a switch that causes a few controlled explosions as the cave begins to collapse.
We need to get out now. Can you keep up behind me?
Cooper nods.
All right, I'm quick. I'll try to go at a speed you can keep up with, but we need to go.
Jack helps Cooper to his feet and begins running at an unnatural pace. Cooper does well keeping up, weaving and ducking past falling debris before eventually exiting the cave. Exterior, Nightshade Runt Cave. At the exit of the cave, there are Nightshaders waiting, shooting at the rescue team. Cooper begins to slow in pace as Jack doesn't break stride. Isaac passes Cooper.
Don't slow down. We got you covered.
The group runs for their escape and finally reaches the escape helicopter that Jack and Isaac arrived in. Jack helps Cooper load in first before checking his surroundings and entering in. Exterior, city diner roof, moving, evening. Cooper has dozed off in the helicopter seat.
Hey,
Cooper twitches but doesn't open his eyes just yet.
hey, kid, wake up. We're back in the States.
Cooper opens his eyes and jumps when he sees the unfamiliar Isaac.
What's going on?
I told you not to startle him, Zach.
Didn't try to.
Jack, already outside of the chopper and on the roof platform, walks back toward the helicopter and pulls Cooper onto the platform.
Let's go.
I could have gotten off myself.
Cooper has a thought, remembering the preceding events.
Dr. S, where is she? Is she okay?
Jack keeps a stone-cold expression while Isaac gives him a sympathetic look.
Let's go inside.
Interior, city diner, evening. Moments later, Cooper, Isaac, and Jack enter an almost empty diner. The diner is modest and seems to have been the hotspot decades earlier, but is now only a skeleton of what it used to be. A woman is off to the far corner of the diner, fidgeting with something but not paying any attention to the arriving group. Jack and Isaac sit at one of the tables, and Cooper follows, sitting across from them. A waitress brings a plate of food only for Cooper. There you go, sweetheart. Your friend's already got you covered. Cooper hesitates as the waitress walks off.
On us. Please eat.
Cooper hesitates once more, but the food in front of him tempts him easily enough to take a shy bite. As soon as he takes the first bite, though, Cooper scarfs down the food at an unholy rate.
Jeez, kid.
My name is not Kid. It's Cooper.
Agent Isaac Stein. Friends call me Zach.
Cooper wipes off his face with his sleeve and holds out his hand to shake Isaac's.
Sorry, I don't do touching.
What, you a germaphobe or something?
It's a safety issue.
Cooper gives a confused look before turning to Jack.
Jack Morgan.
And I am no man, no myth, but definitely the legend, Ishtoven, the identical shapeshifter from the days of ancient.
Cooper turns and recognizes the suited man.
You guys can see him too?
Yes.
Of course we can. The stronger socii can decide if they want to be seen or not.
Well, what is that?
Dr. S hasn't told you anything about sociology?
Of course she's told me about sociology. That's what she teaches. It's what she was teaching.
He's talking about archaic sociology. Ishtoven is one of the many socii that are the personification of ancient magic.
I think I have sauce in my eye.
You are going to take a lot more work than I have the patience for.
I'm so lost.
Zach and I are part of the International Archaic Sociology Agency, or IASA. We are a group dedicated to regulating the modern-day use of ancient magic. You know the compact mirror that Dr. S gave to you?
Cooper pulls the vanity out of his pocket.
Yeah.
That is a keepsake passed down generationally from your family line. The ancients knew that handcrafted items held a special spiritual power in them that grew stronger the longer they were preserved by descendants. This magic grows until the keepsake becomes a conduit to personify this power into the user's Socius.
A Socius then grants power to the user, and depending on how many generations have passed, the power grows.
So you're telling me the most overdressed person in this room right now is just some spirit?
Jack and Zach nod.
Then why couldn't you save Dr. S? If you really are so great, why couldn't you do anything for her?
The doc told you literally nothing, huh?
I don't know what you think is so funny about this.
Watch how you talk to me, kid. I may be your Socius, but I sure as hell ain't your servant.
Ishtoven was present for the doctor, but hadn't reached full potential until he was passed over to you.
And since you don't know how to use your powers, you limit their ability.
I don't believe any of this.
You are staring at a literal, magical, shape-shifting being, and you want to tell us it's just some pretty optical illusion?
Well then, shapeshift for me then. I mean, prove I'm not just having some episode or making things up to cope with what just happened.
Ishtoven sighs and shapeshifts into very anthropomorphic beings before settling on Dr. S, which makes Cooper jump and push away from the table.
Why are you telling me this?
It's because we need your help to take down this syndicate that killed Dr. S.
How? You just said my power source is limited.
Zach, Ishtoven.
Isaac exchanges a glance with Ishtoven before they both shrug. Ishtoven shifts back into his base state and walks behind Cooper. Isaac removes a glove on his left hand and reaches for the decorative flower in the middle of the table.
Cooper, is it?
Cooper nods, but Isaac isn't really looking at him.
If you really want to understand how strong you are, you'll have to find a way to not get killed by my touch.
No offense, man. You're like a twig compared to me.
I don't need to fight you to kill you.
Isaac reaches toward the flower and touches its stem. Immediately, the flower decays until it crumbles into an unrecognizable powder. As the flower decays, the hooded Neshama pulls back his hood and reveals that he has no flesh on his face, only bone exposed, revealing the front of his skull.
Neshama, my Socius is the Grim Reaper himself. Any organic material that touches my skin is killed and fed into his being.
To dumb it down for you, if he touches you, you die.
Are you gonna help me?
Let's just see if you can figure this one out.
Isaac reaches for Cooper. Just as Cooper is about to stand up from his seat and move away, Ishtoven holds him still. Cooper struggles as Isaac's hand slowly reaches for his face. The sweat on Cooper's brow floats off and draws itself into Isaac's hand, where it evaporates on impact. Cooper yells and struggles, and just as the hand is about to touch his face, Ishtoven compresses into Cooper's body, and Cooper breaks free from the hold, holding his hands up in front of his face, creating a mystical force field that stops Isaac's hand from moving.
I thought he was really gonna die on this one.
You should have been more believable.
He got a tight field on my arm right now. I haven't felt continuum like this ever, even from the doctor.
Just don't pull. We don't need you losing an arm from this.
I know. Tell him how to let go.
Please!
All right, calm down.
I'm trying.
Just listen. To safety release him, you have to reconvince yourself there's no longer a threat to your safety. He won't touch you.
Cooper focuses momentarily, and Ishtoven slowly releases from his body as the small force field releases Isaac's hand.
All fully potentiated socii have the ability to merge with the sociopath's body and access their raw power.
So, do I have force fields?
Not exactly. Your power is a unique one called the continuum. You can draw power from the main source of all sociopathic powers. You could choose a multitude of powers and draw powers away from individuals. Even if Zach did manage to touch you, you probably could have survived.
Why does it feel I have no control over my ability, but you guys do?
It takes a while for a sociopath to master their abilities. Some people train their minds and bodies years before they inherit their powers from their predecessors.
Did anyone not pick a better name for the magic users other than sociopath?
The woman in the diner with the trio sitting at a different table but listening in is Kalisha Ali, female 21. Her dark brown skin glows in the faint light of the diner, and although she's dressed in a fairly civilian attire, an untrained eye can tell that she's classy and will draw your eye anyway. She's pretty and a little mean, and as we can see as a reaction from Cooper, he's into her for real.
Are you part of NASA, too?
That's Agent Kalisha Ali. She's also an IASA rookie.
That's the prettiest name I've ever heard.
You already discussed me.
If I join, do I get to work with her?
Is that all it takes for you to get on board? Jesus.
Yes, you will.
I hope I deal with you the least. I can't believe Dr. S. Ayer is some dog that doesn't even know what archaic sociology is.
Kalisha storms out of the diner, rolling her eyes and heading outside. Exterior, alleyway, evening. Moments later, Kalisha retreats into an alley and unboxes a burner slide phone. She fumbles with an SD card and turns it on before typing in a number from a scrap of paper in her pocket. The phone rings for a few moments before someone on the other line picks up.
Hi.
A pause.
I would like to speak to His Highness, please.
Another pause. The scene cuts between the alleyway and interior Kingdom Hall day. A servant walks over and hands a cell phone to a man dressed in pristine black suit with a golden chain around his neck and a large blue stone connected to it in the middle. This is a king in the best sense. Hello?
Hi, Baba.
Have you lost your mind?
What do you mean?
You're reaching out during active Nightshade operations. Do you think this isn't going to give your identity out to anyone?
Nightshade is more occupied with the fact that Dr. S is killed and her new heir has joined IASA.
Good God, are you sure?
Positive. I just interacted with him. He doesn't know a lick of archaic sociology. He's more of a burden to IASA than an asset.
What about the Socius? This should be the full potentiation just about, yes?
Seems like it. but he's so incapable that I don't think he can really make Ishtoven useful.
When do you unlock the full potential of your Socius? A pause. Felicia's eyes seemed to search for an answer. That's what I thought. Before you criticize him, make sure you have yourself in check. Do not call us until your mission is complete. I'm not holding your hand through any of this. Don't disappoint us. King hangs up. Kalisha spikes the burner phone onto the ground and stomps it. She suppresses a scream before throwing a knife attached to her hip across the street. Across the street, we see where the knife lands, right in front of Cooper, who is walking around aimlessly. Kalisha rushes over to retrieve the knife.
Sorry.
I should be saying sorry for what I said earlier. I was just trying to be charming.
Kalisha ignores Cooper and tries to twist the knife out of the outer wall of a building.
I'm Cooper. You're Kalisha, right?
Kalisha struggles but finally releases the knife from the wall, looks at his hand, and irritatedly smacks it away.
Listen, my apology was for almost hitting you with the knife. We will only be coworkers at best, if that. Got it?
Kalisha storms off, leaving Cooper alone on the sidewalk. Jack and Zach come up from behind Cooper, seeing Kalisha storm off into another direction. Isaac is holding a bag from a clothing store.
What's her issue with me?
Who knows? I would say you should ask, but the knife might not be missing a second time.
We have a hotel booked nearby. We've called you an Uber there. Be ready at the front of that hotel no later than 8 a.m. so we can get you processed through headquarters.
Well, I probably need fresh clothes.
Zach places the bag he holds on the ground in front of himself.
These should fit you fairly well. Please don't embarrass us tomorrow. This is Jack's first recruit.
A jet black luxury car pulls up and stops before the three men.
Your ride's here. 8 a.m. sharp, which means at the front of the hotel by 7:45.
Cooper nods, but he's more admiring the car as he steps into the back seat. The car pulls off. Interior, IASA HQ, day. Cooper is led into the main building of IASA HQ by Jack. The building is disguised as a regular corporate law firm. Jack and Cooper walk up to the front desk. The front desk secretary smiles with his over-the-top rehearsed grin. How may I help you two fine gentlemen today?
Scheduled meeting with Iris and Saul Anderson.
The secretary eyes Cooper for a moment. Both of you?
New associate in training.
I see. The secretary types on his computer for a moment. You know the way, Agent Morgan. Welcome, rookie. Jack leads Cooper to a backroom closet that is actually a secret elevator. The elevator releases a small compartment. Jack pulls out his pocket watch, places it in the compartment as it closes for a moment, and makes a slow beep noise before returning the watch and moving. Jack and Cooper exit from the elevator and into a buzzing office full of people. Some are utilizing their powers to get work done, while others move around like worker ants. Glass rooms are occupied by people in combat training against each other, with Socii hovering and assisting them. Cooper is invested in one of the fights, but Jack breaks his attention.
Straight ahead is an area where your ID photo will be taken and you will be processed. Please be quick.
Cooper nods and walks into the next room. We move to Cooper in a room where his ID picture is being taken. A flash goes off and Cooper gives a cheeky smile.
Cool.
Nora peeks over from behind this camera.
Can we try one more without smiling, please?
Nora, what are you doing here?
Hi, Cooper. I've always been a part of IASA.
Wait, if you were an agent the whole time, why didn't you tell me about Dr. S?
I'm sorry, but now's not the time. Let's get you in the system, and then I can try and tell you later.
Cooper nods and straightens his face and posture. Right as the camera goes off, though, Cooper smiles at the last second.
I think that's good for now. Cooper, please just do it the right way. This isn't the time to joke around.
Jeez, Mom. Can you just joke around sometimes?
Nora puts a hand on her hip.
It won't be that easy this time, Coop.
Did it work a little?
Shut up and take the picture the right way.
Cooper grins for a moment before complying and taking the photo. Match cut of the photo on the ID card being handed to Cooper from Nora.
Well, I'll see you around, I guess.
I'm sure. I'm not hard to find.
Nora walks off, and Jack walks up next to Cooper, startling him.
Jesus, Batman!
You ready to see your room?
Cooper nods, following Jack. Interior IASA HQ, empty Special Ops office day. Jack and Cooper enter into an office with a few desks, a large table, and a virtual screen. The office is mostly empty, waiting for time and company to occupy it. Kalisha is sitting off to the side, picking her nails with the tip of her knife, and Isaac is standing in front of a desk, tending to a bonsai plant.
Thank you, everyone, for being on time today. The space is where we will deal with our current assignment, Dr. S. and Cooper.
It feels so quiet in here.
That will be fixed in time.
Ishtoven appears in the room, moving on their own accord without much say from Cooper.
I have some great ideas on what we could fill in here.
I'm sorry, Tav, but your idea of decorated is a little out of date.
No offense, but the only colors you even interact with are black and green. You got the whole New York Jets color theme, and I know you have never even touched a football.
Focus.
The two silence their friendly banter.
Can't you put him away, Cooper?
I think he does his own thing.
At least you know.
Our first order of operations is to figure out who this rogue Nightshade leader is.
Nightshade, that's a sick name.
You don't even know who attacked you the other day.
Cooper shakes his head.
They're a group of sociopaths that are dedicated to stealing artifacts and heirlooms from others. We don't know exactly why, because you can't use the powers of the heirloom outside of the family bloodline.
Yes, thank you, Kalisha.
Kalisha, not looking up from her knife, props her feet up on the desk in front of her.
We need to find out who would have had enough of a motive to bravely go after Dr. S.
Well, Doc said a man's name before the leaders killed her. Eli, I think it was.
Elijah? Her half-brother?
I'm not sure. I know she had a half-brother. She said they had a falling out.
Jack turns to the virtual screen mounted on a wall and moves over to a laptop near it. Jack types in a few things and pulls up a profile with the name Eli Bardugo.
That's him. She showed me that picture on the plane.
Eli Bardugo, a low-ranking syndicate member. He has a background in engineering and has been looking for a way to extract the power of heirlooms within Nightshade. In theory, his plan could work if he can successfully extract Socii from their conduit and use powers as his own.
That's not good. She could have known Bardugo was Nightshade.
Which means we have to gather a little more intel. He's not successful yet, or else he'd be higher in the syndicate.
I want to find him quick.
We all mourn for the loss of Dr. S, but we must be smart on how we approach this. If he was capable enough to stop her, what do you think he'll do to you?
You act like you're the only one affected by Nightshade.
And you act like I'm a pissy private schoolgirl anytime I open my mouth.
I know you're not getting smart with me.
Guys, let's chill out.
I try to be nice to you, but you got some other issue with me for no reason. What did I do to you?
Ooh, I love the drama.
Ishtoven shifts into some casual clothes and sits down with a tub of popcorn, facetiously eating it to instigate.
All you do is whine, and you refuse to figure it out. You have Dr. S's powers, and you're still useless.
I still don't hear why you're getting so uptight about all of this. You keep talking about what I'm not while you don't even know what you are.
Before Kalisha starts her response, someone storms into the door. It's Nora.
Turn on the news.
Jack turns on the news broadcast that shows a news anchor talking about a mass homicide in the photo on the top left of Cooper. This individual is the only known escapee. He has likely fled back to the United States. International intelligence urges you to report any sightings immediately.
Good shit, dude. You made the news.
Ishtoven.
Ishtoven throws their hands up in surrender.
What do I do? Am I on the run from the FBI?
Not likely, but you might accidentally lead them to us, and we can't risk that. You have to stay after hours before you can get to a safer place. Maybe use the doctor's shape-shifting ability to move around in secret.
We need to destroy your phone, too.
Wait, not my phone. I'm like top 100 in Clash of Clans.
Are you serious? You're worried about a dumb game while people are after you?
Cooper raises a hand to dismiss Kalisha.
I'm tired of you two bickering. Kalisha, since you're so concerned about Cooper's competence, you can help him understand his ability until you clock out. Zach, you and I are going to find everything we can on Bardugo.
Isaac gives a thumbs up to Jack, putting away his tools for the plant.
I have profiles on the current cast in Nightshade and who could be connected. Just let me know what you need.
If you can, find a way to clear Cooper's name from the news. If there's anything that can imply Nightshade, use it.
And me?
You have to get front row seats to the drama.
Yes.
But that means you have to put out the fire before they start. Those two need to get along.
Boo.
That's it. Get moving.
The group goes their separate ways. Exterior, family home, day, flashback to Cooper's baby shower. Leah and Hunter are smiling and chatting with some family members. Dr. S walks up and hugs the couple.
Hey, you two. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How do you feel?
It's scary. There's just no handbook for this stuff.
You know, I'm always here to help out.
Yeah, we really appreciate that.
Have you considered letting the kid join the family business one day?
Honestly, I think it's okay to skip another generation.
Oh, but it's important. We do a lot of good.
I don't know. Since I didn't do it, I don't think I'd feel comfortable with my son doing it either.
He'll be in safe hands. I have people everywhere.
Well, we've already decided that we don't want our baby involved.
You don't know what you're talking about. This is between Hunter and I, sweetie.
Well, I'm the one carrying the baby, so I'll decide if he's involved in a cult.
I would like for you to stop calling my profession a cult. If you don't know much about it, it's okay to admit that.
Aunt Marcy, I just don't want my son to go through what you go through. I watched you disassociate and become a completely different person.
Might as well be demon possession.
If you would have participated, Hunter, you would understand it's not like that at all.
Why do you keep pressing? We said no. Leave it at that.
We don't need to yell, Leah.
I have only been incredible to you two, and this is how you treat me?
Ever wonder why Hunter felt better, got promotions, and became more peaceful after we married? It's because he no longer had to worry about you.
And do you know why I stress the importance of what I do in the background and why I preach it is better for the entire family if Hunter would just participate?
Please.
Do you also know why I always seem to have some issue with you and why I always want to leave family functions early when you always have something to say about how we live our lives? It's because you're a sick, crazy bitch that only thinks about herself.
You aren't really a part of this family anyway.
She has our last name, so she's family whether you like it or not.
But she'll never understand how important this is for us Spiegels.
She won't have to. The same reason I've never joined you is the same reason my son will never be a part of this stupid family tradition.
The tradition doesn't have to end with me or you. Just understand that.
Then you should have had kids of your own before your womb shriveled up. Thank God you didn't reproduce.
Don't act like this isn't your 5th attempt at a child with that graveyard of a womb you have.
Chaos ensues.
You will never get to see my son, ever.
Interior, IASA HQ. Director Teresa Perez's office, evening. Present day, Jack walks into directors of IASA's office. Most of the other facilities in the HQ are empty with the exception of Cooper lingering around in the background.
Agent Morgan, thank you for staying after to speak with me.
Of course. What's the matter?
I have an offer you might find intriguing.
Jack shifts in his seat for a beat.
What do you think about becoming the new director in training?
IASA moves on quickly.
It's all part of the job. Dr. S knew her work here would be a sacrifice one way or another.
Director Perez, I'm honored you'd consider me, but I'm not fit for the job.
Jack, I know you've been wanting to step down. You know, I've been wanting to step down for a while now. I have grandchildren who will be trained up in the coming years, and I would like to lay low in order to take special care of them.
I just don't think I'm right for the position.
Please, just think about it. You don't have to make a choice for a while, but someone will have to step up in the few months.
A beat. In the background, Cooper peeks his head into the office door.
Hey, Jack, can I ask you something?
Jack turns back to Cooper and then looks back to Director Perez before speaking.
Cooper, you know it's disrespectful to barge into the director's office without being called in, right?
I'm so...
It's all right. Actually, I'd like to speak with you shortly, Cooper, as long as you don't mind.
Not at all. Hey, Jack, could you wait for me, please?
Sure. Am I dismissed?
Yes, you are.
Jack stands up and exits the room. Cooper shyly walks into the office. Interior IASA HQ, Jack's office, evening. Moments later, Jack enters his office, exhausted, and sinks into his chair. He glances at the corkboard covered with his maps and circled locations of the Nightshade hideouts, and then shifts to gaze at a U.S. Marines photo of his younger self on his desk. Leaning back, he stares at the ceiling for a few more moments. The door is wide open as Cooper walks in, hesitating before knocking. Jack slowly turns his attention back to Cooper.
Come in.
Cooper walks in and seats himself in front of Jack's desk. Ishtoven trails behind, standing in the corner of the office.
Director Perez is super cool. I mean, she said...
Whatever she talked about should stay between you two. If she wanted me to know, she would have kept me in the room. Got it?
Cooper nods.
Now, what did you want to ask earlier?
Oh, I've tried for hours, Jack, but I can't shapeshift.
He's hopeless.
It's not something to be upset about. It took me years before I could use my abilities.
He might not make it in this lifetime.
You can still lay low from Bardugo in the night. I know a path you can take back to your hotel room, and since the room isn't under your name...
Did you see me at all over the news? Anyone could see me and turn me in.
What did Kalisha say to help?
She tried to do this focus training on me and got mad when I couldn't make any progress.
And Ishtoven?
Didn't really give any advice and got bored after a while and disappointed.
I don't know what to say. Just figure it out. You have to do something if you want to stay alive.
A beat as Jack pauses to think.
Dr. S was very good at prying people to talk about themselves. She invested herself and those around her to understand them on a deeper level. It was almost like she would want to get as close to their own personal experience as possible.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever seen the doctor shapeshift, but she would become whoever she turned into from the inner depths of their personality.
So how do I shapeshift?
Maybe think about the person you know the best. Recall one of the most vulnerable moments they've shared with you and really understand them. See how that works.
For a moment, Cooper pauses and closes his eyes, focusing. A few more moments pass, and close to Cooper's face, we see his features become less and less his as he goes from a version of what used to be him to what is recognizably Dr. S. A few more moments pass before what was once Cooper is now Dr. S, from looks to voice to mannerisms. She opens her eyes and blinks with recognition at Jack.
Hello, Jack.
Oh, wow. Good job, kid.
Kid? Seriously?
I don't think it's necessary to method act as your great aunt, Cooper. You just need to move yourself to safety.
How do you know Cooper?
Ishtoven walks up to the shape-shifted Cooper. They give the current state of Cooper a quick scan up and down before making an odd expression.
You okay?
He didn't just shapeshift. He's actually become Dr. S in a sense, as well as he knows her at least anyway.
Is this some kind of joke?
Dr. S, I don't know exactly what's going on, but you're here because of Cooper.
That doesn't even make sense. I haven't even brought him to HQ.
Doc, you are Cooper. I don't know what he did, but it looks like he turned into more of a mimic of yourself. He's a personification of who he believes you to be.
But...
You've passed away, Doctor.
A beat. The shape-shifted Dr. S takes a moment to digest. She observes that her clothes are Cooper's. She takes a deep breath and closes her eyes momentarily.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to shapeshift into other people. I can't shift into Jack. It feels like we've just met days ago. I can't dive into who you are.
Makes sense. Cooper doesn't know me as deeply as you did, so you're limited to who he is. Do you at least know how to get to your home from here?
Yes, of course.
But you're dead, Doc. You don't have a key to your house.
That's fine. I leave a key for when I leave on breaks or Cooper house sits for me. I can use that one.
Ishtovan nods, observing the current shape-shifting state with a puzzled expression.
You're not okay just staying back here?
I just would like to check on something back at home.
Is there something there that Nightshade would want?
They could be searching for my mirror or something else I have here. I just think we should check.
Jack pauses for a beat, wanting to say something but deciding against it.
Well, I better get moving. I should be back in the office tomorrow, right? And we'll figure out what's going on here with me and Cooper.
I'm sorry you had to find out this way.
Nothing for you to be sorry about. I apologize for putting you in this situation.
Just be careful, please.
I'll try and be near. Make sure she doesn't draw too much attention.
Ishtovan mystifies into dark fog and disappears. The shape-shifted Dr. S nods to Jack as she exits the building. Exterior, Dr. S's home, night. The shape-shifted Dr. S makes her way to the front door of the house. She checks the pockets of Cooper's outfit and realizes she has nothing to unlock the door with. She looks around and sees a fake plant on the patio. Dr. S picks up the plant and reveals a key from underneath the pot. She uses the key and opens the door. Interior, Dr. S's home, night. Immediately upon entering into the door, the doctor spots multiple armored men disheveling the rooms in search of something.
What is this?
The syndicates, startled, point their weapons at her. What the? Bard! Footsteps rushing from a back room clunk their way into one person, Eli Bardugo, a male in his 60s, and a decent shape that's complemented by his syndicate armor, walks into frame.
The hell?
Elijah? What's going on?
I should be asking you. You died overseas.
Ishtovan mystifies and stands in front of the doctor.
Ishtovan, what does he want? What does this mean?
I want this Tobin. Why do you think I went through all the trouble to kill you?
You killed me?
Where's the boy? What's his name? Your nephew's son? Carter?
Don't worry about Cooper.
Doc, don't talk to him.
He's in possession of the vanity. I tried to take it before you gave it to him, but apparently he has a new power to bring you back to life. I wonder if he could have helped his parents out.
What are you talking about?
Dr. S begins to glow.
Marcia, you don't believe that his parents were killed randomly, did you? As soon as I thought that you end up giving the vanity to them, regardless of your relationship was, I took them out.
Dr. S's glow begins to flicker and then dims again, but Dr. S shifts back into Cooper. Enraged, Cooper's eyes flash and his glow grows strong before his energy surges.
You killed them?
Cooper lets out a shrill cry, grabs Ishtovan's shoulder, and merges into a dark mist. He dashes across the house, destroying syndicates with his energy. In the chaos, some syndicates fire their weapons, hitting each other. Bardugo takes a device from his belt, inserts a small wooden figure, and presses a button. Instantly, he transforms into a large orc-like humanoid. He grabs the fused Cooper by the neck, expelling Ishtovan from Cooper's body, then throws Cooper to the ground, knocking him out cold. Interior, Nightshade Syndicate HQ, night. Flashback to the night after the baby shower. Bardugo enters a room with dim lights and several private militia personnel. He makes his way up to a man guarded by two large men in armor and masks with the Nightshade insignia. This man is significantly shorter than those around him, but his temperament is that of a man with unchecked authority. This is Warren, and not much is known about him. You again.
Sir, I would like to present my project to you one more time.
This replicator that didn't work, right?
Please, hear me out, sir.
Bardugo begins to beg, almost lunging at Warren. Warren's guards hold up their weapons, fingers all but pulling their triggers. Warren holds a patient hand up to the personal guards as they lower their weapons. You have one last chance. Don't waste it.
Yes, sir. I need to borrow a loom from someone.
Warren glares at Bardugo, who gets the message that Warren's heirloom will not be volunteered. Warren looks over to one of his guards. Bring me someone, anyone, hurry. The guard nods and expeditiously leaves the room. Bardugo pulls out the prototype device from his pocket and fidgets with it. This better be amazing. A few awkward moments pass before a random syndicate member is dragged into the room by the guard. The syndicate member stands up with incredible posture in the presence of his superior. Hand him your heirloom. Without question or protest, the syndicate member obeys and hands over a small trinket. Bardugo puts the trinket within his device and clicks a mechanical button before his body glows with an essence. Bardugo raises his hand and controlled sparks of electricity emit from his fingers for a few moments before the device glows and pops, before the powers shortly leave Bardugo.
You see, if I can get a better prototype of this, it will go on longer without a cooldown. We can recruit people into the syndicate, and they don't even need a family power of their own.
You didn't even hold the power for more than a few seconds. You expect me to believe something like this is enough to stop someone as strong as Dr. S?
I see that, but just with a little bit of financial help from the syndicate could.
Move before I'm tempted to cut your face open for wasting my time. Bardugo pauses for the briefest moment before turning around and exiting the room. Outside of the room, Bardugo looks down at his device.
You'll find out. You were big for the syndicate back when this worked.
Bardugo's eyes flash with an idea before he walks off. Exterior and interior, Hunter and Leah's home, night. 6 years later, Bardugo is in the passenger seat of a dark van. He looks back behind his seat as multiple armored syndicate runts wait for their command.
All right, one more milestone on our journey. We take out anyone inside. I need confirms, pictures of the deaths. Dr. S won't have anyone left to inherit after tonight. Then we can figure out how to take her down.
The syndicate runts ambush the house. Screams from Hunter and Leah can be heard off camera as the men walk in. Bardugo takes his steps into the house and pulls out a disposable camera, taking confirmation photos of Leah and Hunter. In a different room, a couple of syndicates are searching for something.
Found him.
POV of the syndicates, Cooper's head and one arm are barely peeking through chunks of rubble as he quietly cries. Wow.
Shh. What do we do with the kid?
I'd say leave him. I can't have a kid on my conscience. He'll just die eventually.
If we get caught, I'm not taking the fall. Bart's gonna kick your ass if this kid survives.
They leave the room and walk away. Bardugo catches up with the syndicates.
You find a kid?
He might have been crushed under the rubble.
No, go find him. I'm taking no chances. He could have ran out and escaped.
I can assure you, Bard, nobody left the building. Bardugo talks into a radio mounted on his vest.
We see anyone escape the building?
A little bit of static goes before we hear Syndicate number 3 respond.
Nope. However, neighbors are outside, phones to their ears, no time to admire the work.
I swear, if this boy is still alive, this whole mission would have been for nothing. Understand?
Syndicates nod.
Let's move.
They leave the premises. Interior, Nightshade Runt hideout night. Present day, Bardugo smacks Cooper's face to wake him up. Cooper blinks, opens his eyes, and takes a moment to understand where he is before recognizing Bardugo, trying to lunge at him, but is restrained to a pillar in the hideout.
You know. It's crazy you're still alive right now.
Why don't you just kill me and take the vanity? You can't use it anyways.
I would love nothing more than to do that, but magic and flesh don't mix well.
Bardugo nods his head over his shoulder, gesturing towards an unconscious body missing an arm.
I'll break your will instead. He'll cooperate if the sociopath controlling him does too.
A noise and shouting distract those watching Cooper. They exchange glances, and then Bardugo nods and exits with other syndicates. Moments later, Cooper struggles against his bond, hearing but not seeing Ishtoven speak.
What are you doing?
Once I get out of here, I am gonna kill him, I swear.
You don't even know how to use the power unless you freak out. That's not gonna help.
I don't care. My life sucked all because of him. I need to get revenge.
Let's just say you do kill him. Then what?
I really don't care. If I die along with him,
Someone's coming. Shut up.
Someone does come into the room, but they aren't in syndicate armor. Instead, we see Kalisha.
How did you know where I was?
Kalisha walks over to Cooper and begins to try to set him free.
IASA higher-ups are high priority. We all are notified if their property is broken into. An alert for the doctor went off because the agent still needs to retrieve any valuable information she was keeping. I happened to catch the alert. I was nearby, so I checked it out and saw the doctor, or you, and followed the Nightshaders here.
That's incredible.
Bardugo, who was actually the Nightshader who was unconscious on the ground, lifts one hand to reveal his face from under the mask, though his other hand is still missing.
We've been too sloppy lately. I mean, we could be now that Marcia is dead, but it's incredible how you guys are always on our tail.
Your hand.
You don't believe you're the only shapeshifter, do you, Cooper? You're just the only one that can replicate the powers of others. I would never have let one of the other guys grab my prize. Your friend, his Toven magic is just too strong.
Kalisha raises her arms in the air and is covered in bright blue flames before attacking Bardugo with them. Bardugo swiftly pulls a device and an unidentifiable keepsake from his belt. He inserts the keepsake into the device, emitting a puff of smoke as he extinguishes the flames aimed at him. Kalisha charges a stronger blast, but Bardugo overpowers her and knocks her down. Before Kalisha can get to her feet, syndicate guards restrain her. She's bound and dragged to a post across from Cooper. She struggles, hopelessly.
Hey,
Kalisha continues to struggle. Bardugo overhears Kalisha and begins to walk over. Cooper gets one last hard glance at Kalisha before closing his eyes and focusing. For a moment, a blue-hued aura flows over his body, and then a burst of blue flames emits from the aura. Cooper opens his eyes and draws in a deep breath before blowing a pillar of flames onto the floor, stopping in between Bardugo and Kalisha. The flames scorch the ground and begin to form a silhouette of a large creature. As the flames continue to mold themselves, the outline of flames fade into a recognizable albino tiger with glowing blue stripes. Kalisha looks at the tiger with awe as the blue fire from his stripes illuminates her face. Kinton, the tiger of heat and fire. Bardugo uses this moment to jump onto the tiger, but Kinton turns quickly and lets off a roar as a powerful shockwave knocks Bardugo over, and the device flies out of his hands. The shockwave produces a controlled flame that frees Cooper and Kalisha from their bindings. Cooper and Kalisha help each other steady themselves as the syndicates run into the room and fire their weapons. They begin to fight away the syndicates with blue fire as Kinton circles them and attacks anyone who gets too close. Bardugo has multiple devices and uses different abilities that end up putting him into a standstill with the duo. The duo and Bardugo stand across from each other, tired and looking for another opening. For a moment, it seems as if nothing else is going to happen, but Kalisha begins charging up her next attack, borrowing blue aura and flame from both Kinton and Cooper. Kalisha fires her attack, a large, hot blast of heat and plasma, but Bardugo swiftly dodges it as the blast seems to trail off as Bardugo draws his attention back to the duo. A moment passes, and then a being moving at supersonic speed circles the still-moving blast and redirects it into Bardugo's back, sending him flying forward. The speeding entity comes to a stop as we see Jack Morgan with his stopwatch in his palm. The blast knocks all of Bardugo's devices away as Bardugo stumbles upward. He takes a moment to look around, seeing his runts are all killed and that they have no more socii to conjure. A beat as another standstill causes everyone to pause. Bardugo sees how close he is to Cooper, who is exhausted and unable to use a power at the moment, and he pulls a gun from his hip and aims it at Cooper.
If I can't have a damn shapeshifter, nobody can.
Time seems to move in slow motion. We see inserts close on Bardugo's finger, pulling on the trigger, Kalisha's yell, Jack's attempt to dash, before finally, two hands grab Bardugo's head. Isaac, behind Bardugo, holds him stationary as a black mist crawls and stops in front of Bardugo, forming into Neshama. Neshimo pulls down his large hood and reveals a misty skull that unhinges his jaw and begins to drain the life from Bardugo until he shrivels and decays into barely skin and bone. Isaac lowers his hands as he puts back on his gloves. Jack, who has already dashed in front of Cooper to take the bullet for him, drops to his knees in relief. Isaac walks past Jack and helps Cooper.
Is he all right?
I think so. Are you all right?
Could be worse, I think.
If you think you're okay, I'm gonna check on Kalisha quickly, and then we can help Jack to his feet.
A group of IASA agents come in, many with weapons and armored vests, as they check various rooms and compartments of the base. One agent, Nora, walks in and spots Cooper. She swiftly walks over to him and lets out a sigh of relief.
You okay? I'm so sorry this happened on your first day. I wish I could.
Cooper gives Nora a tight hug. Nora hesitates before hugging him back.
Thanks for taking care of me until I met Dr. S.
A beat as they hug for one more moment before Nora pulls away.
I'm glad you're all right, Coop.
Jack, on the ground, makes a grunting noise. Nora and Cooper immediately try to help him to his feet. Isaac comes over as Kalisha trails him. Jack slowly makes it to his feet, but he is obviously still shaken and groggy.
You had a good mini nap?
I dreamt that I was staring down the barrel of a gun.
Dreamt, it looks like. Did you piss yourself, my guy?
A dark spot on Jack's pants reveals, in fact, that his bladder emptied after the ordeal. Cooper lets off a laugh as Nora, Isaac, and Kalisha try to stifle their own laughs.
Laugh all you want. This is the last time I'll try and take a bullet for you.
Let's get you out of here.
The group begin to leave. Interior, IASA HQ, team office, day. The next day, the group office now has some new decoration, although it seems slightly empty and still needs some time and experience to fill it up. An insert shot on the door reveals a label that says, Department of Syndicate and Private Agency Management, or SPAM. Staying on the sign on the door swings open and Cooper enters, looking at the sign before it cuts back out to the group walking inside. Trailing Cooper is Kalisha, Isaac, Nora, and Jack. This will be the new team.
So our special operation department is now called SPAM.
Do you want me to say the full name every time?
No, but why don't we call ourselves Management of Agencies and Private Syndicates? Or MAPS?
Because you're dumb.
Will you two ever get along?
Yeah, be nice.
That means you too, Cooper.
Thank you, Nora.
Kalisha sits in the corner. Jack heads to the front where the interactive screens and paperwork are. Isaac, Nora, and Cooper take their respective seats. Ishtoven mystically appears and sits down.
Good morning, everyone. I guess you could call this a debrief from last night's events.
Jack interacts with the holographic screen coming from the work table in front of him.
As we are aware, Eli Bardugo has been confirmed to be dead, as well as the number of nightshaders that worked underneath him. The word has most certainly gotten to his higher-ups, regardless of how low they were in the food chain.
Jack interacts with the display again, showing an image of Bardugo's device.
This device is called the Replicator, possibly still held by the Syndicate, poses a significant threat if misused. We've sent several of Bardugo's devices to our tech specialists to evaluate their workings and determine if we should possess them.
I don't think we should use it.
And why not?
Well, it takes away the integrity of the arcanic sociology. The device can grant anyone with this power that somebody else can have by a click of a button.
That's funny coming from you.
You know what I mean.
I'll take your suggestion to Director Perez. Thank you.
Cooper nods and looks next to himself where Kalisha sits. He didn't notice before, but Kalisha has a cat in her lap, petting and stroking its head and back. The cat is bright white with almost glowing blue eyes.
They let you bring a cat in here?
Yes, and he's picky on who he likes, so don't think you can just go around petting him.
The cat stares at Cooper for a moment and leaves his position on Kalisha's lap before leaping onto Cooper's, standing on his hind legs and gently reaching to nudge his forehead on Cooper's face before purring.
Kinton?
Kalisha scoffs and rolls her eyes.
Don't get used to it, please.
A short beat. Jack is talking in the background, but Kalisha and Cooper aren't paying much attention.
Thank you for helping me unlock my Socius. I owe you.
Well, how about we both go out?
Gross. Absolutely not.
Jeez, you didn't even know what I was gonna ask.
Don't care. You had something in mind too quick, and now I take it back.
You can't even come with me to get a new phone or something?
Just because Kenton likes you doesn't mean I do.
Cooper, please pay attention.
I am not the only one talking. You don't hear?
Shh.
Cooper reluctantly obeys. Jack finishes his debrief and the group begins their own separate projects. Interior, Nightshade Syndicate HQ, night. A dark room with a mahogany teakwood desk polished to perfection has a man sitting in it. Warren looks over to a door in the corner of his office. Guarded on each side the desk are large guards. An armored nightshader walks into the room with a file folder and a blueprint, placing it on Warren's desk. What is this?
One of the runts, Bardugo, made this device some years back. He was killed by the agency, and I think they have some access to the same device that helped kill Dr. S.
The runt managed to kill the doctor, but didn't take her Socius?
Seems like she passed down the keepsake before she could get to it. A kid in his 20s doesn't even know how to use his abilities.
Can we make more of this device?
It's possible. Don't know what Bard used, but we could probably get someone to find out and make improvements. What are you thinking?
We could make a whole army of artificial sociopaths. Bring me a replica of this device, ASAP.
Yes, sir.
The Nightshader leaves the room as Warren contemplates something. The end. First, I want to give a big thank you to Jojin for being my advisor through this, kind of seeing like the sloppy process from like a hard to read outline to this product, and of course is going to be updated in the future. As you can see here, there is a QR code for just feedback. Project doesn't end here. I would like to keep sharpening this so I can pitch it to agents, managers, and eventually a studio. I also would love to thank people on sound. Yeah, I think this is the end of it. For the actors, we're gonna put up, if we can go to the beginning slide, just to have the logo of it. Can we all take a picture and just kind of have that? I'll send that out to everybody. Again, thank you guys so much.